Hello everyone, I'm Liar, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for DeepVocal. If you don't know, DeepVocal is a vocal synth program similar to utau. It's a lot lesser known, but I think it's got a lot of potential. I can't go into the really technical things, so this is really just a beginner's guide. With all that out of the way, let's get started. So, first things first, you're going to need to download a voice bank. Finding voice banks for DeepVocal can be a little tough, but the DeepVocal wiki documents a bunch of them. They've got things in many different languages, so there's a pretty good variety. However, it seems like it isn't updated often. And so there are tons of voice banks that don't run with the current software. With all of that aside, I'm going to download a vocalist. I decided to download Zmihu's Japanese voice bank. Downloading stuff is a little sketchy since it's mostly shared through things like Google Drive, but it's always worked for me. Once the file is downloaded, do what I'm about to tell you. First, extract everything. This voice bank has two versions, so I only extracted one of them. Once that's done, find where you have the files for the DeepVocal application. They're usually in Program Files x86, but mine are somewhere else. There will be a file called Singers. Drag the voice bank file there. Now that the voice bank is there, you can open DeepVocal and use it. Yay! Now you can use DeepVocal. But how do you use DeepVocal? First, I'll go over how to make a cover using an existing UST VST VSV, then how to make your own. First, find a cover that you like. It can be utau, Vocaloid, synth, whatever. As long as there's a file download in the description, you're good to go. I'm going to download the Used for Tanjiro Titana's cover of Meltdown. Once you've got it, there's a website you need to go to in order to make it compatible with DeepVocal. It's called Utau and can convert anything to any program. In this case, we're converting a used file to a DV file. Just go into the used folder and drag and drop the parts you want to convert. All of the files get merged into one at the end, which is really helpful. Ta-da! Now you have a file compatible with DeepVocal. Now that you have it, you can easily open it within the program. Once you have that, you'll need to download an off vocal, but I'm not going to be going over that. It's a pretty simple process, and there are many tutorials on it. Now, some people would just stop there and export the cover. Personally, I like to edit the files I download to match more with the vocalist I'm using. So, where do you start? Normally I add my own harmonies. You can do that by pressing Create Track and using the pencil tool to create a section to edit them in. I'm not going over how to add notes right now, though. That's for later. After all, I need to show you how to edit existing notes. There are 6 ways to edit notes: volume, pitch, breathiness, gender, phoneme, and timbre. Volume and pitch are what they sound like, but the others might need some explanation. Gender controls the squeakiness of a voice. If you set a note to low gender, for example, it'll sound like the singer just inhaled helium. It's a lot to get the hang of, but it's easy once you start doing it. DeepVocal is a really easy program to use, I promise. Now that I've gone over the basics, I'll tell you how to make your own covers and songs. The first thing that I usually do is change the tempo BPM. For some reason, it's in a really weird spot. It took me a really long time to find it originally. It's where the song parts are, which makes sense, but you have to scroll backwards to get to it. Once you're there, just click on it and type in the BPM you want. After that, you have to create notes, which is simple. Using any tool, drag to create a note where the piano notes are. It tells you which note it is when you hover over it with your cursor. Most voice banks recognize hiragana and romaji, I think, so you can type in either of those. Once the note is on the track, you might notice that there's a little line underneath it. Depending on the length of the note, there may or may not be vibrato built into it. To get rid of or add vibrato to your note, click on the line. Once you've done that, a menu will pop up. There, you can drag on the scales to control the frequency and range, and also change how much of the note it takes up. Now that you've edited your note, it's time to move it around. Depending on your settings, the way you can place notes might be restricted. To change this, you have to navigate to the top of the page where the quantize and length settings are. I usually keep mine at 1/64th of a beat, but there are other options for you to choose from. And with all that, I'm nearly done. Before I go, I'll give you a few more nuggets of information. First is that to force a stop, you can type in 0 to a note after the note you want to stop. Second, some voice banks come with breath recordings. Check the voice banks page to see if they do. That information is usually listed. And third, sometimes the program might crash, but it usually autosaves your progress. Don't panic if that happens. And with that, I'm all done. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Thanks for watching.